Mike likes machine guns.
I like machine guns.
Welcome, episode 22.
22.
I'm your co-host of the Speakeasy podcast.
No, you're the host. Come
No,
on.
Mike.
I'm support.
The only reason why people listen to this podcast is because it says Mike Pappas.
Not true.
I think it is.
Partly true.
I say very little.
Yeah, but when
It's
you
the
say
presence.
things, it's epic.
Whatever.
Whatever.
We've got Brady and Jeremiah from Right On Optics today. It's been a month, guys, so sorry there was a little bit of a wait. I know we were bombarded with messages. When's the next episode coming up? So,
We'll try our best not to disappoint them.
yeah, good. Don't disappoint them. The pressure is
Pressure
here.
just got cranked up.
Yeah.
Well, it's been tough to find podcast time, and we've been busy, but we're back, baby.
Yes. We have been busy. We've got some pretty exciting stuff ramping up for the fall. We can't really talk about it. People do know that there's a can or two being launched. So you'll understand why when things start to get out there onto the interwebs, the audience will know why we've been so busy. But good things come to those who wait, right?
That's right.
So 4 weeks. Now we got Right On Optics. It's going to be an epic episode. So where do we begin, though?
I'd say before we really get into the meat of this podcast, I'd like to thank the food club people for providing us with this water. Now, nowhere does it say it's not spring water. This is purified water. So it's very easily made. There should never be a shortage of it. Get it at any quality food outlet.
My favorite thing is add flavor to life, right? But we're talking about water here.
Oh, they market.
Yeah. I mean, wow. Add flavor to life. And then quality guaranteed, 100% satisfaction.
Or your double your money
double
back.
your money back.
Yeah.
We can make
Look
some
on
money
the
on
warranties.
this
That's what I'm
thing.
saying.
Wow.
Just got a bone in mine.
If you don't like it, they'll give you twice as much and send you out the door.
just give me more water.
You're going to like it now.
You didn't say what you would get twice of back.
Double.
You don't like it? Here's another case.
Hell of a guarantee.
Double your money back. I'm just saying.
Well, I appreciate them for being a part of this
Yeah,
podcast today.
We all do.
Yeah.
It was nice of them.
They've been tried and true. You know, we've been through a few water sponsors, but
They're always there. They're like Timex. Hey, if you don't want to be fancy, but you want to know what time it is, check your G-Shock. It'll always be on.
Did you look?
I looked at my watch. I was like, I don't have a cool
It
watch.
didn't even turn on.
I have
I
a
was
cool
also
watch.
thinking, I saw Rich filling water bottles up with a hose out front earlier, so I'm really confused about what.
Mine wasn't even sealed. It was like pre-opened.
Sorry.
That did not happen.
That's not true.
You taste the minerals, the
Yeah.
natural minerals from the Camas
This
well.
is not well
fresh.
water.
It's spring.
Okay, so obviously everyone that's listening should know who Right On is, but just in case you don't and you're new to the internet and the guns and optics, but Right On, they specialize in fine optics, and we sure do love your optics.
Thank you.
So Brady, you're the CEO.
Yep.
Let's I don't know. I mean, where do you want to start? Let's just tell the audience who Right On is, how you guys got started, how you came into the CEO role, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we'll go, I guess, from the beginning. I'll keep it short and sweet.
The beginning.
The beginning. Let's go way back. The kind of a little background on me, I guess. Let's start there because that's kind of the origins of Right On. I grew up hunting. I grew up in Montana, so I grew up hunting my entire life. Since I think I shot my first rifle when I was 5 years old. So I've kind of been hunting and shooting my entire life. Went to the military after high school, so I was in the Air Force. Not exactly a high-speed shoot-'em-up branch of the military, so I don't pretend to be that guy by any shape of the imagination.
Needed, though.
Yeah.
The what I find is all the other branches are jealous of it, and so that's why they talk shit.
You guys
about
get the
Air
nice
Force.
uniforms and the nice.
The hotel rooms.
Hotel
But you also got to
rooms.
earn it. Like
Right.
you can't. You got to test well on the The ASVABs.
When that's kind of the standard answer is you could be in the Air Force if you maybe had a higher IQ or.
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Wow.
There it is. There it
With
is.
that one
Now, I
pinky
said
up.
it. Where's the camera? I don't know which one. I said it.
Look
No.
right into the camera and say, you need to be smarter.
So I was Air Force, and then I got out. My degree's actually in business and entrepreneurship. Kind of always knew I wanted to get into business, just didn't really exactly know where and where that passion kind of lied. Ended up working as a Capitol Police officer out in D.C. for several years, and that was kind of where my path crossed with optics. I started kind of consulting for an optics manufacturing company. I'm kind of going back and forth. I'm not sure who to look.
No, you're good.
It's good.
Started consulting for an optics manufacturing company, more on the actual user interface of it. They were very good on the optical engineering side. I don't pretend to be an optical engineer by any stretch of the imagination, but I've used optics for 3+ decades. So my expertise kind of comes into the interaction between the user and the optic, and that's kind of how it started. So I started having them build me prototypes of different ideas I kind of had. And I consulted instead of getting paid. I consulted for product. And so I was still working at the Capitol Police. And I remember we were getting to a point where I would get like 15 or 20 prototypes, and then I would just send them to all my buddies, all my hunting buddies, all my military buddies, and be like, literally, hey, beat the shit out of this.
What do you think, huh?
And tell me the bad first and then the good second. And that's kind of how it started. That's kind of even where Jeremiah came in.
Yeah.
He's been with us for a long time. He's now our director of product development. Me and him go pretty much make everything together as far as reticles or any new designs. But that's really one of the first times I reached out to Jeremiah. I was like, all right, here you go, dude. Here's the scope. Beat the shit out of it. Let me know.
I honestly didn't want to take it off. I was like, I had a 3378, and I was like, this is a scope killer. And I've had the same scope on for like 15 years. He was like, come on, don't be a dick.
Just try
I
it.
was like, all right. And then I was like, hey, this is actually really cool. And he's like, what do you mean actually really cool? And I was like, okay, this is a good optic.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even part of the company. And then having that optic was what made me, I had a career in environmental remediation and a business. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something different. So when the time comes, holler at me and I'm going to jump on board. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We won him over. So that's kind of how it started. We built that finally to a point where we had 2 product lines, kind of our 3 and our 5 line, our middle lines. And the genesis of true Ride-On was we had the business. I had 2 small kids. I was still working as a federal agent. My wife had a full-time job at IBM, and we literally didn't know who each other were. We were trying to run a business and get that off the ground with other full-time real jobs and kids and everything else. And I remember I came home, I worked the State of the Union. It was one of Obama's State of the Unions, and I didn't leave the Capitol for like 3 days straight.
Jeez.
And I came home and I was like, this is stupid. Like, this is no way to live a life. Like, I can't, I hate living here in the city. I haven't shot. I haven't done anything that I love doing. I haven't hunted. I haven't done anything. I'm stuck here.
DC, man.
Yeah. And history, it's cool. I love the history side of it, but to live and hunt and just not my style.
Yeah.
And so I literally looked at her. I was like, we got to do something different. This isn't something that can last. So I put in my 2-week notice, and we got the hell out of DC. And
Wow.
that was kind of the beginning of Ride-On about 7-8 years ago now.
And you picked Utah?
No, so I grew up in Montana. My wife grew up in Arizona. So we actually ended up going back to Arizona.
Okay.
That was one of the first places I was stationed in the military, so I still had a lot of friends and connections and stuff down there. So we ended up going back to Tucson. That's where our headquarters are based out of. Jeremiah lives up here in Utah. We have remote guys all over the country, so
Sure.
It's nice to have whenever we come up here, we get to hang out and shoot. And
I just been pushing Ride-On scopes in Utah so long, everybody thinks
we're headquartered here.
Honest to goodness, I thought that.
Yeah.
Good work.
Mission accomplished.
did it.
Don't give him too many compliments.
What part of
he's earned
Arizona? Phoenix?
We're in Tucson.
Tucson. No, you said that.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, so literally within about a month, packed up the family, everything, moved back to Tucson, and just took off running with Ride-On.
How old were your kids?
One was under 1, and the other one was 3.
Dang. I
Yeah.
know that. I
Yeah.
know that cross country with littles.
Yeah.
We had a nightmare experience from Texas to here because it was in the height of COVID, and we had booked hotels weeks in advance. We're
Yeah.
in New Mexico, and not the fanciest area.
Listen, it's New Mexico.
Yeah, it was.
Everything sucks.
Let's just say it was busted.
Wait,
He was born there.
I grew up in New Mexico, so
I wish I remembered the town, but it was not nice.
if you want to move out west, New Mexico's nice. Utah sucks.
Yeah, you're right. Mike's
Do
got
not
a point.
Do not come.
Everybody should
Mike's like, don't come
go
here.
to New Mexico.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we get to the hotel at like 2:00 in the morning. My 3 little girls are exhausted. My wife's exhausted. I'm in a U-Haul, clearly exhausted. And they shut down the hotels, or they turned them into COVID spots for patients and to basically bunker down.
Yeah.
You're like, we have COVID.
We legit had to sleep on the side of the road.
Oh
Are you
my
serious?
gosh.
Yeah, it was awesome. I stayed up the whole night.
Yeah.
Had my AR just like my eyes felt like piss holes in the snow. Yeah. Good times, but you're a brave man.
It was, and we had the fallback. The nice thing is my wife's career has always let her kind of move, and so we had the, bless her for being really good at what she does. We kind of always had that fallback, which allowed me to be able to kind of be really aggressive and be kind of take right on where I've wanted to go with it over the last several years. So that's always kind of been a big one for us, is like our family, and it also kind of keeps us separate, which is good and bad. She does stuff with Right On, but she also has her career, and so it's a good thing to kind of keep peace in the household that we're not working with each other 24/7.
Nice. I was just thinking while you gentlemen were saying that we built this house and lived here for 5 or 6 years before our oldest daughter was born, and my girls don't know what it means to move.
Yeah,
We've never moved. Now
that's
they're
not a bad thing.
Getting out of the house, and we're still here.
That's kind of nice.
I don't
It
think
is
that
nice.
happens very often.
No.
No, that's rarity for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you have a tank, you don't have to move. Everyone else kind of does
yeah.
whatever you need them to do.
If
Oh.
you build it, they will come.
I don't know about that. No one knows it's sitting
one
here.
knows,
The
yeah.
door's down.
It's a very
There's
unassuming.
nothing, there's nothing to see here.
No, just
Unless
keep
we
on moving.
film a video where we ran over the fake Bonnie. There are people slowing down in the traffic. We're like, what the hell's going on at Pappas' place? He's crushing the car.
No one stopped, thankfully. They just
Yeah.
kept on going.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, at that point. you might
I've
as
seen some brave Earth muffins, but not that brave.
Yeah, no.
They're not going to stop when they see a tank in someone's yard.
You accelerate.
well- yeah, it's like,
See you
just
later.
Mind your own business.
Yeah.
You either stop and make friends, or you mind your own
Just
business.
Keep on,
Yeah.
keep it on.
They're probably just gritting their teeth, holding hard onto the steering wheel like Trump supporters.
Oh, I love it. So that was that's the beginnings of Right On.
What year was that?
That was 2013.
14.
Okay.
13.
Wow. Nice.
And then it kind of finished. Kind of the short version is we developed those product lines. Kind of started getting them. Literally had the first 2 product lines. Me and my wife. I emptied an old range bag out, threw a bunch of scopes in it, went to a local dealer and pled my case why they should carry Right On optics. And that was the very first sell that we ever made.
Nice. What dealer?
It's just a local one down in Tucson. It was like an Ace Hardware that carried a ton of
Oh,
ton
awesome.
of ammo and ton of everything. Just a jack of all places. Guy is an awesome guy, still there. But yeah, so that was the first part of that. Was I was everything. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know anything. I literally, the questions that I got asked that first day, I remember, and I still laugh at this. I go out to the car and I'm like, what in the hell was that guy? I'm like Googling different things on my phone. Like I got no clue what this guy's asking. And I'm like, oh yeah, we could do that. And I go outside. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So,
What you didn't know at the time.
how do people acquire Right On? How does it? Let's talk about how it goes through and gets to individuals. Distribution, direct dealer, direct end user, consumer.
We do it on the web. We do have sales on our website. It's at full MSRP. We do use distribution, and we do some direct to dealer.
So I could go to my local gun store in X state,
Yep.
order it, and he could get it from a wholesaler.
Yep.
And
Yep. We have full distribution. I think we're in every distributor in the country at this point. We even sell in, I think, 15 overseas countries now. So it's kind of literally in the course of about 3.5, 4 years is just blown up. But yeah, we're full distribution, dealer direct. We do a little hybrid of both.
Gotcha.
Most of it, if it's your local dealer down the street, you can go down and they can get it from any major distributor and
He had
it
a
within day
good
or so.
plan. The initial plan was like, when I want to go buy something, where do I go? And you go into that gun store to ask questions because you're like, I don't know. Can you guys help me figure this out? So I think our first push was like the mom and pop shops, just all the local places, so that when you went in, they could recommend it, and that paid off because people started to know the name. It was nice to get past the, oh, well, I've never heard of you guys. We were like, well, we've never heard of you either, but
But we're here and you're here, so
but here we
let's
are.
do
Let's
business.
talk. Let's work it out. Yeah. And the first two lines were more of like a hunting and a tactical
Yeah.
line. Obviously, because Brady's background was obviously tactical and hunting, so that we focused on that, and we've grown into. Yeah, I can't imagine how quickly. It's surprising sometimes to look back and think just yesterday we had 1 to 4s and a 4 to 20, and now we have like this entire line from competition all the way down to hunting. So
Oh, yeah, you guys have gone nuts over the last year, 3.
last 3 years have been a lot of growth.
We've been
Crazy.
lucky and I know every owner of a company is supposed to say this, but I've hit it out of the park with the talent. I mean, you're friends with a lot of the guys that work for me, and in a short amount of time, we've been lucky enough to get an incredible employee base of guys and girls that should never be working for us, to be honest with you, for how new we are. Only being around for, we've been in business for about 8 years, but really only been selling for about 4.
Gosh, I wish you would talk about us like that, Mike.
He didn't look at me.
gotta-
For the record, he said we have these other folks.
I said other guys. I didn't.
I was just going to say,
I
we
little
have
soft pitch
Rich,
that
but
one for
now
Mike.
I'm thinking, you should make me want to talk about you.
I even gave him that slow pitch to just set it up.
Dang it. I spoke too soon.
You did. You spoke too soon.
Ruined it.
You're too greedy.
I need compliments. I'm sensitive.
I'm susceptible to flattery.
I was introduced to you guys from the Man Spot.
Yeah.
I took him. We went hunting with Eberly Stock up in Boise, or outside of Boise, Anderson Ranch area. We actually had horses, so I didn't use the horses. I actually had to ruck up
walk.
the mountains. Yeah. Nothing against Man Spot, but I mean, obviously, if there's a horse there, you're gonna use it, right? So, but yeah, he brought in. You guys, we did a video together, right in front of the campfire. It was the last day of hunting. I was exhausted. Had spent like probably 6 hours tracking these 2 bucks that Man Spot ended up taking out one of them successfully, which was an awesome shot, like 500 yards out. But we get back to base, and Man Spot's like, we got to do one more video for Right On. And I was like, what? Who's Right On? He goes, the optics company.
scope we're using.
Yeah. So we did, and it was that campfire one where I'm wearing a cowboy hat, and he's like, the California compliant BB gun.
The
Yeah.
BB gun one.
Yeah.
I'm literally replaying that in my head, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you were in
That
that
was
video.
me.
Yeah.
The pump
you were
action.
country, though. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I'm
me.
tired as hell.
I actually got in trouble for that because I'm going and going and going and going, and I knew Neil over at Ready Gunner, and he's
Yeah.
like, there's this Man Spot guy. So I just reached out to Man Spot and was talking to him and kind of offered him to do stuff. And Brady's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing?
Who is this guy?
I don't even know who this guy is. Like, why did you tell him? And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Here's his number, though, if you want to talk to him. Might be a good guy to talk to. I don't know.
Bless his heart, though. He would get really mad at me for telling this story, but Vaughn,
Well, now
it's
you gotta
funny.
tell
I
it.
gotta tell it. It's nothing bad. It happens. But he came out of the tent the first morning, and he had his Right On optics on backwards. I was like, dude, your optics on backwards.
demagnifier.
He's like, I meant to do that.
He goes back in his tent.
It gives the deer a fighting chance when they look real far away.
In all fairness, we were rushing him. We were like, get out, let's go. And he was like, okay, hold on. He just probably went, clip.
Way to be prepared. Like he's
Yeah.
mounting his scope in the tent.
In the tent,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
that
did
sounds
it.
about
I
right.
did it. I'm sorry, Vaughn. I love you.
I've done a lot of things like that in my life.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Me too.
I
Vaughn's
still do it.
Vaughn's creative.
That's a good thing.
In a fun way, though. Like, he's a different thinker. So
Yeah.
we did a COVID video like at my house, and he's feeding me stuff live. He's like, say this. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm talking to a wall. He's like, later it won't be a wall. I was like, okay.
If you say so. Okay. I don't know how, but okay.
He's really talented. I when I first met him, he was still at Black Rifle Coffee, and just to hear his story about like where he came from and how he was able to harness his, I guess, personal brand and have it explode. At one point, I believe he was for like a month. There's a month period at Black Rifle where he was the highest paid employee.
Really?
Because of his influence
Yeah.
in promoting. And it's like, and then from a business standpoint, I tip of the hat to Vaughn that he's done a lot of good for himself with his brand and his beard and
The beard.
the beard.
He's less beard now,
Yeah,
isn't
I
he?
know. He trimmed it a little bit.
I'll tell a story too. It was funny. He came to our house. I think he has a melon wall. He had a puppy at the time.
Oh,
And
yeah,
his camera guy. We were telling you this last night.
Yeah.
His camera guy was like, "Hey, Avon's dog is like aggressive a little bit. He's super friendly to people, but if you have dogs, you might want to lock them up or whatever." And I said, "There's a 160-pound and a 210-pound Mastiff on the other side of that fence." I said, "Let's see what happens." And he looks over the fence and he's like, "Hey, Vaughn, you might want to put your dog in the truck." I was like, he might get one of them, but he ain't getting both of them.
That's awesome. That's funny. Maybe we'll have Vaughn on the podcast.
Yeah, it'd be entertaining.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Your dogs. Now we're talking about dogs. The first time I ever met Jeremiah has literally these two huge mastiffs that, like, I don't know, they just kind of rule the back 40.
Yeah.
You don't really see them until you see them, and then you're like, oh shit. And
Your horse.
yeah, oh, that's not a horse. And the first time I ever met the dog, it just walked up and like sat on me, and I was like, I tried to hold it, and I was like, what is wrong with your dog?
That's when we had the goat
yeah.
too that was after Jack.
Yeah, the goat
Yeah,
got
little-
in my truck.
We had a little
with my kid.
a little pygmy goat that was raised with dogs. So like it tried to come in the house. It like would only hang out with dogs. Scott McGregor has it.
Huh.
We moved to we had a few acres and we moved to a couple acres, and I was like, I gotta get rid of this goat.
Listen,
Scott has our goat.
so goats have gone up a lot in value in my mind as of yesterday. I was with a couple of the Fieldcraft guys talking about an upcoming project we're working on. And they showed me this video of this guy. He hunts out of Idaho, and he hunts with 3 goats. And they're jacked, like the big goats. And he puts the packs on their backs, and they haul out the meat. And
What?
I've never heard
I
it
gotta
or
find
seen
this.
it, but it is actually
Like a pack
it's
goat?
epic. Yeah,
Never heard anybody refer to a goat as Jack before.
they're pretty meaty.
It makes
What?
sense
I
though.
gotta
Like
see
they're
this.
These goats were
They're like
meaty,
an alpaca
pretty
or
much.
llama kind of a thing.
Yeah, but they're little goats.
They
mine was
just follow you around,
Yeah, he had
bearing
like
weight.
he had 3 goats, just backs full of packed stuff.
You couldn't put an empty backpack on my goat. It was like a pygmy goat. It was like that long.
But now I want to see these goats that you
yeah,
hunt with.
I want to see these jacked goats.
Yeah.
Goat hunting or hunting with goats.
I think that's neat, but in my mind, for me, a goat's going to have to perform some calculus before I deem it necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Not
They'll
a
probably
goat
just
fan.
chew on the calculator.
If you
Mike.
get hungry, you know, you gotta do what you gotta
Found
do.
out Mike's level of what he likes in goats.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever, though.
Can't imagine having goats.
No.
It
I
makes
think
sense.
that's cool,
It
but I
makes
don't want
sense.
goats following me around.
If they're holding
Pack-
all your stuff, though.
No, I have a truck to hold the stuff.
I bet they can go different places than, say, a horse, too, and they're
But I don't
probably
want to
quieter.
go there.
You don't want to go there. I will tell you, a goat poops everywhere it goes, like on the walk. I'm like,
Constant.
are you?
Like a horse.
Are you just walking and pooping all over the place, all over the yard? You're welcome, Scott McGregor. So
Yeah.
We'll have to find that video and send it to you guys. It was
No,
pretty
I want to see
interesting.
this
Yeah.
now. The pack goats.
I had sheep till this morning. Now they're over at the fair. They don't know it, but their days are numbered.
The clock is ticking.
dead man walking.
Sometimes they interrupt our episodes. We'll just hear a random meh.
Like, we'll cut that later.
They think they were going for a ride, and they're at the county fair.
The last
thinking it's
ride.
pretty
They
interesting.
went for a ride.
Yeah.
Some 4-H goats or
Yeah,
sheep.
That's right. 4-H.
Nice.
So you guys are going to get them butchered or sell them?
No, we sell them.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't.
The
deal with
Pappas
them on the
days are
other
numbers. They're numbered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you say you guys, it's a pretty good little investment with those goats and
Sheep.
sheep. Yeah.
Did you say it's not cheap or
They're
cheap?
they're pretty pricey selling them.
They are, yeah. No,
Why?
your
Why?
children can do really well, college fund wise or whatever.
That's big money. Like, what are you thinking? Like per sheep, like
I
10
think
grand?
last year it was like about 2,000 in the low 2,000s. But you've got to figure that your son or daughter can do it from 8 to 18.
Yeah.
So you can do
10 years worth.
fairly decent, you know. It's a fun little family project that we do.
Yeah. You have
I
this,
only have 2 years left. Thankful for that.
Mike
more
the
years of
sheep
sheep.
farmer.
Yeah.
I bet everyone on this podcast listening right now didn't know that.
Just found out something new. He doesn't like goats, but
They're going to be like, "Do you hear that sheep podcast that Right On Optics was on?"
Hold on.
I know we're talking about sheep.
I want to clarify.
Okay.
It's not that I don't like goats. It's that I have no use for them.
That's true. I got
Unless
that
they
one
can do
down.
calculus.
And then they
Well,
can come
then
to
we'll
the shop.
talk because I
They're
think I
welcome.
could use a little help with math here and there, and it wouldn't bother me if a goat could spell.
Like a reloading goat.
Like I
that
could
just does
ask
the
it
math for
spelling
you.
questions.
Yeah, I would have to ask. The marketing team knows. They're like, "Can you proof this for specs or whatever?" I'm like, "Have y'all spell checked this?" They're like, "No, we thought you." I was like,
Nope.
"It's your fault now." Because you know that I'm not looking at spelling on this. So I will
The
technically
specs will
check
be
this.
right,
But it's your fault if this is spelled wrong, not mine.
I definitely have a process with, like, anytime we send out an email, I'll do my spell check version, but always something catches. But so I always send it to get proofed. I don't make that mistake because I've done it once and it didn't go over well, like a fart in the wind.
It's
You
always,
misspelt this word
it's
in
always
the
the
subject.
worst. Yeah.
just to start the whole thing out.
I told you I did environmental remediation before I worked with Brady, and so we work with state regulators, and they come in, and a guy came in and sent me this long email, like, "Are you going to continue to use these work practices because they're a little unconventional?" Imagine that, Brady.
That doesn't sound like anything
And
you do.
I told him I was going to defiantly use these instead of definitely. So he
nice.
calls me. He's like, "Hey, I didn't have anything wrong. I just wanted to see if you were going to continue." I was like, he's like, "There's no need to be defiant." I was like, whoops. Really sorry about that.
Well, a big common mistake that's made in our industry is misspelling the word break.
I
Yes, it is.
And I did that. And I felt like an absolute idiot.
In the subject line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it with parallax before. I've spelled parallax wrong in a couple of emails, I think. So I'm with you.
Parallax, that's a way harder word.
But I work in a scope company.
True.
Well, you're going to have to learn some, right? But one day our engineer, Todd McGee, was in the office and he's like, "Hey, let me see your phone." And now my phone, I used to spell dose for does.
Yeah.
Now, now when I do that, it puts does in. And he's like, "I can't do it anymore." I've
me your
read
phone.
your emails
Give me
for
your phone.
years. And I'm like, but it's not flagging it.
Yeah.
It's spelled correctly, but it's the wrong
It's the
word.
wrong word.
Totally. So
He fixed the
fixed
autocorrect.
he did, yeah. So now it knows what Todd wants and it gives it to me.
He
Defiantly.
literally reached a limit that he had to come and fix it.
Give me your phone.
Yeah,
I
I
wish-
broke him
I'm
a
done.
little.
I have a problem with making up words. My wife's a linguist. I feel like she's just always on me. And I'll make up words all the time. Like, honey, that's not a real word. I was like, but you know what I mean. She's like, yeah, I feel you.
But it's you
If
did
I-
that on the drive up.
If I just said it and you knew what it meant, how is it not real?
not a real
How
word.
is it not real?
I think we're ahead of the curve on the evolution of language.
If I'm saying it and you're understanding it, then
Yeah.
put it in.
We're all gonna.
Yeah.
With the way that emojis are now, I told my kids, I was like, everyone can communicate now with these emojis because it's like hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
Everyone knows
going
what this
backwards.
means.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
a pile
It's
of
an
dump.
easy thing. Yeah.
Everyone knows what a pile of crap looks like on an emoji and what
Yeah.
it means. So
Now you can use
Yeah.
GIFs. Too.
Yeah.
I love using GIFs.
well, we had a
To respond.
conversation just recently. That's all it was just
Yeah.
like wrestling, like WWE wrestling, just one after another.
And then
And we
everybody's
know what
more
we're saying.
confused at the end.
Yeah.
I know what's going on.
So
I'm not against it, but I don't do that.
GIFs or
Emojis.
hieroglyphics.
Any of it. I
he
just
types out the
spell
emoji.
He types out the
The
emoji.
colon with the
Laughing out loud.
parentheses, smiley face here.
Smiley face.
Colon,
yeah.
parenthesis.
No, I do some thumbs up sometimes.
You
That's about
double
it.
tap it and like it.
I do that, yeah. It's
Yeah.
easier. I can't spell that wrong.
I don't have to respond. I just like it.
Like
You know.
So Jeremiah, you do some competition shooting, don't you?
I do a little competition shooting. Everybody thinks that we do because we were on a team where we broke the world record for distance, 2017, I think it was. And so I think everybody thinks that.
Which optics did you use?
We were at that point we were using really our binoculars more than anything to spot because because literally we were like tactical and hunting. So recently we've been out. It was our 7 line, which is our kind of creme de la creme line, and a 4-32. We were out shooting 6,500 yards with that one.
Wow.
But when we broke the record, it was 5,025 yards. Yeah, and then it kind of blew up. If you'll go back and look from 2017, it just like exploded. So, and I do like the 22 NRL stuff and some of that. And we go out and shoot a lot. And listen, guys, I post a lot of videos. It's only of the stuff that looks good. It's only that makes me look good.
Of course. That's what Instagram is
I miss
about.
a lot.
Just the hits. That's all we need here. Just the hits.
I was like, I know your group wasn't that tight. Yeah. Zoom out. Let me see the rest of the group, not just the.
I bought a whole thing of dimes that are like this big, so I put it next to the target. Dime size.
Yeah. That's funny.
No one knows.
So,
you guys use Casey Knorr as well a little bit too, right?
Yeah, we do. He's actually, so we have a long range competition team. It started pretty recently. He's on it. Steve Rains, Curtis Broadbent, both Brady and I. So yeah, he's a great shooter. So I start to judge people now on their win calls. Honestly, like at a certain point, everyone shoots pretty well and can follow directions pretty well. But you know, when I say win call, it's a guess, right? It's always a guess. Mm-hmm. But like the better you are at guessing win, the more I start to listen.
Agreed.
To what you have to say. I'm like, all right.
I've also said that for a very long time. Everything's math.
Yeah,
except
for wind.
Yes.
That's a guess. Gravity's the same. The Earth spins at the same speed. It's real reliable.
What if you're a flat earther?
Then you don't have to worry about the Coriolis effect. No. Coriolis.
You just call it spin drift at that point. There's extra spin drift when we shoot east to west. I don't know what the deal is.
Problem solved.
It's still flat. You're fine, though.
Man, we just disproved flat earthers with optics.
Ballistic.
Yeah,
well, the guy shooting, the guy that shot the record shot, he's one of our brand ambassadors. He's helped us develop some reticles and stuff. He's a retired SEAL. And
nice.
Yeah, we were on an airplane once going to teach a class, and someone behind us was talking about flat Earth. And he leaned over. He's like, I did a halo jump once that was like 35,000 feet. He's like, you could see the curvature of the Earth. I don't know what these people are talking
Look
about.
out the window right now.
Well, and then he said, he's like, when we come up on a battleship, we'll come up 40, I think he said 40 miles out, and then they'll jump on a Zamboni. And I was like, why? He's like, you can't see the battleship because the Earth curves off.
Like, it's over there.
He was so like,
or it went off
so
the edge.
stupid. Like,
what if it went off the edge?
Disappeared.
Yeah.
You had to go the other way to go find it
He's
again.
he's always been picked back up, so he's still here.
You got
So
to go the other way to find it.
Wow, we covered this is like almost turning out to be a Joe Rogan podcast.
No, we're all over the place. I love it.
I love that.
Yeah,
We haven't
should
even got into the new line. Maybe you tell them.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Kind of the new system that we came up with too.
So one of the things we did, so this is really our third generation of scopes at this point, from those kind of the beginning ones. One of the things we noticed and is caught on really well is all the other optics companies. When we did research, all the other optics companies, you're not really sure what does this name mean and where does it fall in the line and how much does it cost. And so every other scope company to this point is kind of just they build a scope and they give it a name. Right?
Arbitrary names.
And it doesn't necessarily, or they give it a bunch
They
give it a set of numbers, and it doesn't really match to what the actual scope is. So one of the things we did when we launched our newer line is we have kind of the price point categories, which is our 1, 3, 5, 7, or we have application, which is primal, which is our hunting line, tactics, which is kind of our low power variables and our red dots, and then
Your hunting line, you call it primal?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And then our long range lines, our Conquer line. So that way you can, and that's one of our Conquer series right there. That's a 624 by 50. So for us, it simplified how we communicate with our dealers, how we train the public, and we can sell you on different ways. This is how much money you have to spend? Okay, here's your options. This is your application. You're going hunting. Here's your options. And so it's really simplified the way we interact with our customers and the way we sell. And we weren't sure how it was going to be received, but so far in the last couple of years since we did that, everybody's been coming to us, especially our dealer network, and they're like, oh my God, it's so much easier to order, so much easier to sell. Because in some of our competition and that have been around for a while, they have, 1,500 SKUs, and no one really knows how does this one rank against this one, and what's the application for this one.
Yeah.
And so for us, it was, let's keep it simple. Let's make it, we didn't reinvent the wheel. The car companies have been doing this for, how long. That's why BMW has 135. That's why Ford has F-150, F-250, F-350. It's not rocket science, but it gives people a way to actually, okay, that makes sense. This one's bigger than that one. This one costs more than that one because of how we classify it. So
well, what we did was listen to people too. Like, some people get to a certain point and they decide they're doing stuff and other people should buy it. And we've been different. We're like, well, let's make what you want to buy, because we're trying to sell stuff to you. And that was the question all the time. Everyone would come up and like, I need a scope. Okay.
Where do we start?
you make those, but what are you looking for?
And so those were the questions we kept finding ourselves asking, like, how much money do you have and what do you want to do with it? And so we were like over and over and over, and we're like, why don't we we'll name it by that, and then they'll know this is the monetary place I am, and this is the usage that I'm at, and it's simple. Even like the reticles and all the things that we designed, it was like, we're just trying to make what people want. So we love the feedback.
Well, I think that's genius. Now, us, for example, our line is a bunch of memorization. We have all these different names, but there's not a lot of, there's some, but not a lot of correlation with it.
Yeah.
I like part numbers.
Right.
And the way that, say, steel chainsaws, just tell me the number.
Yeah.
I'll kind of envision how big it is.
Yeah.
And then I'll know what I
Then I'll
want
know
to do
what
with
looks
it.
like. As I'm looking at a steel
So
chainsaw
I
over
think
here.
that's totally cool.
Well,
That's super helpful.
You have to I proposed, or the marketing team proposed like a Ride-On University a while back. And Brady's like, all right, so like, what are we going to get out of that? And I was like, I don't know. Like there's not going to be an ROI that's like visible on teaching people stuff, but I'm continuing getting calls where people are, your BDC reticle doesn't work. And I'm like, oh, it's etched in the glass. So it
didn't change from when we.
Yeah, let me
built
hear
it to
what
when
you got
used
going
it.
on. They're totally the wrong caliber. And I was like, you really thought? And so they're saying like, your stuff's wrong. And they're telling, well, I bought this reticle or I bought this scope and it doesn't work. And I was like, we have to teach people how to pick the right stuff, how to use the right stuff. And then they'll love it because they're like, I got the right thing, for the right job, and we got the best, dollar for dollar value we could have possibly got. So I think listening to the people, Brady's always been great about that. He's like, we're trying to sell stuff to people. Let's ask the people what they want.
I think also people in optics especially make it way harder than it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, for me, a long, drawn-out conversation about MOA and mills. Yeah. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just tell me what it is.
I just wanted to do.
And then I'll
what it
put
needs to
that
do.
in my little program, and it will all make sense. Like,
and
you
we
get the
realized
difference, and you can juggle it. But
even people that have been shooting their whole, I was part of this group really until I got dug into starting Ride-On, and I've shot my whole life. But at the end of the day, I needed to do what it's supposed to do. Yeah. Sure. And we realized that even these guys that have been shooting for 20, 30, 40 years, they don't really know as much as maybe they think they do. I hate to call out my buying customers, but there's a lot of them that don't. And so we started a Ride-On University. And we kind of look at it as our role as education. And the more we educate people on why this reticle, why this zoom, magnification range, why the difference between the objective size and the tube size, and even right here I was looking at the 1:6 you have in front of us, the fast focus eyepiece. Like, we have people calling in all the time that would, hey, my scope's blurry. Like, there's zero chance. Like, it should be blurry. And you realize they don't have a clue that you can focus the scope.
Yeah.
When they get older, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I get a scope in focus, no one can see through it.
Right.
I used to be like everybody else, but not now.
I noticed that. I said, "Who has the terrible vision?" When I saw this fast focus piece is like all the way out. I was like, "That's 20/20 is usually all the way in." As you come out, as you back out from it, you can start to tell. I'm like,
this is what I'm saying. When people can just look at it and tell there's something wrong.
You use the features
But
the way you're supposed
use
to
the
use
feature
them.
to
Yeah.
fit you, and then all of a sudden the scope will do what you want it to do.
But how would you like not knowing how to do that? Like, genius
wouldn't.
to educate people. No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't work for you.
Well,
It'd be blurry.
we had a guy, I called Brady, it was probably like 11 o'clock his time at night. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but I have to tell you about this guy. He was an attorney and a veteran and a proclaimed like F-class shooter. And we sent him like 2 different sunshades, and he's like, they don't screw in. Something's wrong. And I was like, man, you're the first. So the office calls me, and they're like, we've sent 2 sunshades, and they don't work. And I was like, something's not adding up. So I was like, hey, this is super weird. Would you FaceTime me?
He's trying to put him on the back.
No, he's had a sunshade. I mean, he had a flip cap on the end, and he was trying to like screw it into the flip cap, the plastic. And I was like, and then it got defensive and was like, well, all my other scopes, I do it that way. And I said, you completely underutilize your ability to close the cap because it's stuck in between.
And so it's just stuck open.
And he was like adamant, that's all my scopes. Like, well, hear it right on. What we've done is you can take that off, put it on the end of your sunshade. And
Screw your sunshade
it works
on.
like
Yeah.
it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? When someone gives you these credentials, you're like, all right, well, this person
guy
knows what
must
they're
know.
talking
Yeah,
about.
sure.
And listen, we've all done it, right? We've all been like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I can't believe I asked for help for that.
That was dumb.
So yeah, just to set the record straight, I do it all the time. But
Me too.
that's what we've really tried to do is just assist in people, getting the right thing for the right job.
Sure.
Yeah,
And for the listeners, you guys, Right On Optics, is that what the YouTube channel is?
yeah.
Or is it
So
just Right
yeah,
On?
you can find all the links to these on the website, but yeah, rightonoptics.com or YouTube.
Get that YouTube University.
Yeah,
Nice.
you can find all those on YouTube as far as Right On University goes. And we're uploading new ones we try to upload them every couple weeks. What we do is if we start seeing the same question more than 2 or 3
you
times,
make a
we go
quick
make a video
video.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we try to make it simple. Even like we did in MOA, people were asking, what's better? And I was like, better? So I literally, if you look at our Right On University on MOA and MRAD, I'm like, all right, so everybody asking. Obviously, yeah, they're both better. They're both great. It's 2 different measuring systems. Like, just pick one, use it, learn them both. I don't know. It doesn't matter. People get all caught up on that.
They
I'm like,
do.
it's metric versus standard. How about that? Go with that, So,
I had a Jessica Simpson moment when you were actually asking me which one did we prefer. I think it was yesterday.
yeah.
We were at lunch, and I called it MOA,
Yeah.
and they're like, what?
Mo
You
rad.
mean MOA?
We do what you meant.
MOA. One of those MOA scopes.
So if you want to go on Right On
On
Optics, Right On University,
Yes.
we'll,
I'll type it in. I'm going to do
We'll get you
some
schooled up.
learning.
Yeah, and we do fun ones too. There's lots of educational, but even the educational ones we try to make short for one. But then you're fun, and we do even like shooter spotter communication. Because the thing I noticed too is like, again, I'm embarrassed sometimes. I don't want to call someone and ask them and be like, I don't know anything about this, so I'll YouTube it. Which, you don't always know what kind of info
Yeah.
you're getting there, but you'll go and learn some stuff, and you're willing to do that. And the worst thing is to know a little bit about something, and then everybody thinks you know a ton about it. And that happens to me with the scope thing. They're like, so you know I'm like, no. I tell people all the time. So they'll be like, you're the technical expert. I said, so I've been walking for about 40 years, and I still trip.
Yeah.
So I'm not an expert in anything. There's no such thing as an expert.
Good way to put it.
So.
That is a good way to put it.
Yeah, but we have fun with them too. That's been the thing, like you talked about. I was gonna call him Van, the Man Spot.
Yeah.
He sold himself.
Yeah.
That's what he sells. Right? He sells the beard.
Yeah.
So we've tried to do that with Right On. We're like, we have people who love to shoot, who love to hunt, that are all either veterans or first responders or married to one. So we all love it. We're all passionate. So if you call Right On and you want to talk to somebody, it literally doesn't matter who you talk to from top to the bottom. They're going to be passionate about talking about scopes. And I think that's what people can get on board with that.
Yeah. And honestly, that was a big underlying one for me. Seeing kind of my military law enforcement side and my wife on the major corporate side, I was like, I don't want a company that's like either one of those. The underlying factor of like, I've had some shitty jobs. It's not always fun, and there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. But at the same token, let's have fun. That's why we do this, right?
Yes.
Like at the end of the day, there's a necessity to having a gun and having firearms, but it's a hobby. It's a passion. It's a pastime for all of us. And you need food, you need water, you need a gun, right? But you don't need 15 of them. You don't need, you know what I mean? Like, get as many as you can get, but it's also something that's a hobby for people. So if you're not having fun with it and you're not keeping it light, it's not something that people have to come do business with us. But we want them to do business with us because of getting that personality across and getting the, like Jeremiah said, call in. And I get mad at my guys if they rush off the phone. That's not what it's about. Call in and ask us anything. Mm-hmm. I've had our customer service guys selling people and different reloading equipment and different. We don't do anything to do with that. But if my guys know about it, we're happy to talk to anybody about anything. And I think that's been a big one for us. It's been kind of shitty being locked down for the last 18 months or so because we miss just getting out and talking to people, because that's what built Ride On is
the shows,
us getting in front of people, and we are very quick to evolve our product lines and everything like that when it comes to, hey, if we're getting enough customer feedback that we need X, Y, and Z, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And that's kind of a big one for us, is we're really light on our feet when it comes to our ability to take that feedback and actually do something. Yeah.
Well, and then hearing your guys' story, you know, where you came from, your background, yours, Jeremiah, and just how everything came together and what you've, you know, how you've envisioned things, and then even the Guinness World Record for a distance shot, like that says a lot about Ride On. And I'm glad that we got an opportunity to share that with our audience, and for those who might not have ever heard that story, another reason to go with a Ride On Optics. Yeah, it's cool.
We're supported by some really amazing people, and I think it says a lot about, you know, the product obviously, but it says a lot about the people that work there also. So that people want to get on board. I mean, we were literally a very, very small business a few years ago, and it just exploded because people, you know, it's like you see the stickers on the truck. Everybody wants to have that. They want to be part of something. And so I think we've done a good job, like helping people be part, and, you know, helping us be part of what they have going on. So it's fun, and we love it. That's the thing. Literally at the end of the day, Brady will have to shut me off on the podcast at some point, because I'll be like, you want to talk about scopes or red dots?
We're doing pretty good. We're doing good on time.
Well, I like the feel of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with you on you've got 2 corporate and 2 lemonade standy.
Right.
You've got to have a little bit of a blend of kind of in the middle to be, I think, humanized as well.
Yeah.
You know, you can call and communicate with us, talk to us. We're actual people, and we're here to help.
You're going to get somebody to answer the phone. You're not on hold forever. You're not. And like the biggest thing too is, like I was saying, is it's hugely important for me in the way we run the company, is that, like, hey, if somebody calls in, don't say we don't do that. Talk them through it. Give them your experiences. You know what I mean? Like everybody that works for me and works within the company, they're shooters, they're hunters, they do this. This is what they do on the weekends, you know? So we literally closed down for hunting season. Like that's how many people, I think 8 of us got drawn for the same area this year. So for deer. Wow. And so it's one of those things where this is what we do. We'll bullshit with anybody. And maybe you come away with it with learning something, or maybe it's a new friend, or maybe it's, you know, we have people that literally call in and ask for a specific rep because they just want to bullshit with them.
That's awesome.
You know? So that's super
mission
cool.
accomplished.
Yeah. Well, we've said we don't know too. Like, you know, people get too caught up in, like I said, technical expert. But like the thing that we've done is we've never given anybody information that wasn't 100% accurate and true, which sometimes means, you know what, why don't you give me your phone number? I'll call you back. That's a good question. You know, that's a good question. And we'll learn. We're not above, you know, learning either. So people get on board with that.
Well, I think there's also an aspect of there's 10 different ways to do certain things. Absolutely. And none of them are wrong. It's just a different way to do it. They're all right. And I think you see that a lot in hand loading and mechanical work and firearms usage and application and optics usage and application.
Yep. And we have a really diverse group of people. And like Brady said, that's why people call in. They're like, who's that Marine scout sniper guy that works in the back? I want to talk to that dude. He's cool. Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Special projects. What's new? I mean, there's probably things you can't share, but what's coming? What's the next move for Ride On? For this year, maybe next year.
Pausing for suspense. The newest things out right now, we just came out with some new versions of our pistol red dot and our micro pistol red dot.
I think I got
The-
one of those, didn't I?
Yeah,
you
I think
did.
so. Yeah.
You weren't supposed to, so you
Oh, sorry.
yeah, but you got a new cool one, yeah.
Yeah.
Put it
The
on my mean Hellcat.
yeah. So that's a version of our
up.
new MPRD.
Shout out.
I'm staying on that. I gotta lean back.
Fight.
And go. So new versions of those two. Really just based on customer feedback, some new features that we put in there. We actually loaded it with some good features, same price point. Shake awake, auto off, auto sensors we put in there, so it auto dims depending on ambient light. And then that was a big one too for the law enforcement side that we wanted and everyday carry guys, where you don't want to have to push a button.
Yeah.
It comes out, it comes on, and ambient light sensing and everything. So both that and our PRD, which is an RMR footprint, and our MPRD, which is the shield footprint.
Okay,
For the Hellcat and all the smaller frame pistols. A new version of our 3-9 is out, just a little longer tube, so it has more mounting options. We kind of had a smaller tube 3-9, just kind of our entry level 3-9, and so we have a little bit longer tube so it can fit some different bolt action guns. Those just came out. We have a bunch of accessories we're working on. They'll be out in the next 2 or 3 months. And then really there's a big push for us too on the hunting side. That's what we're going to see from Ride-On a little bit more in 2022. If SHOT Show happens, that's where you'll see most of them. Right now, it seems to be there's a pretty good debate up in the air if we're actually
Well,
gonna do
There is.
that or not.
I heard there's even a debate on NRA too.
Yeah.
I hear the same thing.
Which, I mean, I'd be really sad because we put in a considerable amount of effort and work planning for that.
That's the frustrating part, is to get all geared up for it and then they don't ever give you like, hey, why don't you tell us like 5 months in advance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you
They
got
tell
to
you, like,
chase
2
them for
weeks
your
in
money
advance.
back and all that.
Yeah. So that's the plan kind of going into 2022, is just back to my roots a little bit. Like I said, I'm a hunter. I love hunting. That's what I love to do. All my kind of professional side was tactical. So kind of getting back to the hunting side a little bit. We're still building the tactical side, obviously, but that's always been strong for us in our low power variables, our red dots, and our long range stuff. So just kind of building up the hunting line a little bit more.
We'll need to set you up with one of our nomads.
Yeah,
It'd be perfect for the
definitely.
hunting experience.
Definitely. I actually just did my first hunt with a suppressor, and I was like, why have I not been doing this my entire life? I was like, this is so much better. So
What was it,
yes,
338 too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big
So I was
difference.
like, why am I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you have a better chance at not spooking the deer if you have to take multiple shots at
Right.
a greater distance too. So that's nice.
got a
You just
better-
shoot and you hit the brush next to them and they're like, what the hell?
You got a better chance of not saying what from the other room.
Well, and
when your wife
honestly,
says something too.
I know that the hearing protection stuff, that is a big thing, because
Absolutely.
when you're hunting, am I going to take the time and get Ear Pro out and put? No, I find the animal, I'm shooting it, and then for the next 2 hours, you're like, you got that, but
Like Twomley on Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Wah.
but you're like, you're not going to not take the shot if it's available. So it is a hearing protection thing,
Yeah.
So, I'm a convert. So, and I'm not just saying that because I'm here. I was like, how have I gone this far in my life without?
It's illegal to shoot or hunt in the UK without a suppressor.
There's a lot of like overseas countries that.
Well, I think there's a little bit of a, people think like, oh, it's so dangerous because people can just be 100% quiet from anywhere. And I'm like, it's way different.
Yeah.
But, silence is not,
No.
dead is
It's
when
not
you're
like
silent.
Hollywood ruined it.
Yeah, Hollywood
Right,
definitely
it's-
did for
yeah.
suppressors.
Well, that's like saying if you pull into my driveway with an electric vehicle, I'm going to come out yelling because I didn't know you were there. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you care?
Well, I will say, I heard the Mask HD on a
Yeah.
22 that you guys had, and the Bolt, there's a 1022 and the Bolt shut, and I'm pretty sure it was louder than.
Louder than the
Again, then nothing's
Yeah.
silent because there's mechanical, but you start to notice the other noises that you didn't know existed.
Yeah.
Before you
Well,
put a
22 is
suppressor.
different, right? I mean, it's not anywhere near as
It's
lethal.
not a
as,
Lapua. by any means.
Yeah. So I feel like that gets a pass when it comes to the Hollywood weirdos that
Yes,
freak
it
out.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But they are quiet. We did a staple gun test. I mean, it obviously wasn't like metered or anything, but it was a fun activity. A little video.
Nice.
Shot the staple gun and then picked up the 22 on a Ruger. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's all it sounded like.
Yeah.
Well, and it makes it funner for, I have 5 daughters, and they all love to shoot, and they're all great shooters, but it can be intimidating when it's loud.
You said that so
can be
casually, by the way.
off-putting.
The 5-daughter thing.
I have 5 daughters.
Listen,
Like it's no big deal.
yeah.
Good Lord.
Send your prayers to Jeremiah Alexander.
Yeah.
So
They're teenagers yet? You poor guy.
yeah, I got 20-year-olds, so I'm past teenagers.
Oh, okay.
But the suppressed is, it makes more people enjoy shooting anything when it's suppressed. So it makes it a much funner. And for the youth who we obviously want to shoot and want to be part of this, a suppressor
We don't want to
is
shoot the youth. We
lit-
want
Yeah.
No, not all of them.
came
And
out
so-
a little wrong. We want to get them into shooting.
Get them into
We'll edit
shooting.
that later.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, but it's just more palatable when it's not. And even like
Yeah.
if you go to a competition, like especially like a long range competition, there's like
The one guy out there that's not
three-
suppressed and everybody
three-
hates him.
375s out there and 416. Listen, a 416 Barrett will scramble your brain for just a second. So yeah, it's a game changer. It makes people love going out
Yeah.
and shooting. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for doing what you do.
We get pretty grumpy at range events.
It's probably
We
guys
try
like
to
me.
hide it, but
Yeah.
it's like if we get put in a spot where we're not near suppressed fire
Yeah.
and we have to deal with it, we're just like, I just feel this like sense of peasants, like kind of like disgusting people over there.
You're like, you can't hear how quiet we are because of our neighbors.
Well, it can be annoying when you get rung.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Look, we're doing our thing. Everything's fine. And then here comes the loud guy.
Yeah.
There was we were the Shootaw,
Yeah.
our right-on booth, there was like a minigun
Yeah.
next to us. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is, I mean, and it's so awesome that you have to stay there and watch it and be part of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, you leave and you're definitely like,
We were fortunate that they separated all the suppressed fire from
They did.
the heathens over there.
yes.
Because we know Ear Pro over here. Actually, I'm not going to name the brand, but there was definitely one that was kind of irritating me that was there. It was a little louder than I
It should have been.
Our optics
Yes.
are
Gosh,
completely
dang it.
silent.
put my Ear Pro on.
I don't want to wear this on
Yeah.
a rage day. I love it.
That's what I say, like you said, heathen. When I see someone on the phone like this in their car, I'm like, what kind of crazy person?
Put it on speaker at least.
What are you
Because
doing?
do you have like,
It's like Bluetooth and there's speakerphone and there's not talking on your phone when you're driving. But this is,
Yeah. They need one of those old school, like they had in the rotary phones.
yeah, like
with
the
a little-
big like scoop thing on it. Yeah.
You put it on your.
shoulder.
does your car play it through the radio?
Yeah, whether I want it to or not. Yeah.
Wow.
It definitely owns my Bluetooth. Like my wife will leave and all of a sudden
I'll start talking to his
Brady's having a
wife.
conversation with my wife.
That's
I'm like,
funny.
hello?
That's
Hello? So, yeah. I don't know how, but the car always wins the Bluetooth battle for sure, yeah.
So do you have any other kids or just 5 girls?
I was married before, had 4 daughters, remarried, and my wife had a son and a daughter. So
Oh, cool.
yeah,
Brady
we're
bunch.
combined. Yeah, we are the Brady bunch.
6 kids.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, wait.
You-
Did I do my math wrong? No,
You
6
learn a lot.
kids.
No, that's right.
6.
You learn a lot. Listen, whether you want to admit it or not, you learn a lot from your kids. You're like, hey, that was kind of an asshole move. I do that sometimes. Don't do
Where
that.
did they get it?
Yeah, yeah.
Little
Well, I'm gonna-
self-realization
Absolutely,
moment there,
yeah, absolutely. I'm past even being bashful about it. I'm like, my kids have taught me a lot of
They
stuff.
got that from me.
Yeah, so
I'm going to be hitting you up. I got 3 little girls. So
I will list public service announcement when girls hit the age of 13, whoever your daughter was leaves, and then someone else shows up in that body. You got to wait a few years to get your daughter back. So
don't
just
tell me that.
you're
You're gonna do
welcome.
it 3
You're
times.
welcome. Be prepared for that. Yeah.
That didn't happen to me.
Yeah, you got lucky, though.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, my daughters they've been wonderful, and people have always said that, watch.
Yeah.
And it's going to be kind of a rough ride, but
Good.
it's actually been pretty enjoyable. They didn't seem to do a crazy personality change.
I think my daughter
Thankful for
started
that.
at 6. You said 13?
She listen.
Yeah.
His daughter was. We were having an epic Nerf gun war at the Speth household.
let me set this real quick. Whenever
Paint this picture.
whenever anybody comes to town,
Just me. Like some special.
okay, we'll make Jeremiah special.
Anybody, when anyone
Whenever
comes to Arizona,
we'll do it with you guys too. Don't worry, he's not that
Down.
special. My son he has this Nerf gun collection, and I'm not talking like the little dart guns. I'm talking the balls that Sometimes I think he gets wet and freezes just so he can shoot
Yes.
because he doesn't screw around. I literally had to go to the eye doctor one time after an epic Nerf battle. I'm not going to tell you shot me in the face, but so now we wear safety goggles around the house. So Jeremiah's in town, and our national sales director Todd, he's over, and we're all hanging out, and all of a sudden a Nerf battle breaks out because that's what always happens at the house, and thousands of rounds are getting sent down range.
Literally.
Thousands of rounds.
That's awesome.
One of the guns my son has shoots like 8 rounds a second. And it's like, it's insane.
A Nerf gun?
It's always the gun Brady has, for the record. For
It's
some
my
reason.
son's gun.
Yeah, I'm like,
But it's-
is it his gun?
Yeah.
It's always in your hand.
That was
may
the
have
part
bought
of
it
the
and told him
deal.
to hold it.
Yeah, you bought it for him, but
You're gonna love this.
yeah.
And so the battle rages on for a while, and it takes a little lull. He locks himself in a bathroom to reload.
I had a jam. I had a Nerf break, a dirt
like a
break.
double feed.
I had like a multi-tool out. I was like,
So he locks himself in the bathroom. My 6-year-old daughter walks up, who had switched teams multiple times because she's more of a target of opportunity.
she
shooter.
was on her team the whole time. Is what it was. You got sucked into it or not, basically.
So she knocks on the door, and in her sweetest voice, she's like, "Jeremiah, I'm done playing. Can you open the door?" And he's like, "Well, if you're done playing, why do you want to come in here?" And she's holding a fully automatic Nerf gun at the doorknob, and she's like, "I'm serious. I'm done. Just open up." All sweet. And Jeremiah's like, "I'm not falling for this shit."
play
And I
that
picked the lock and pushed the door open, and she's like,
You got
wasted him.
wasted.
Absolutely.
It was. So I was like, wow, maybe she's not as innocent as I thought. It was a new appreciation and awakening of my 6-year-old.
Yeah.
She's innocent
So I
when
was like-
she's innocent.
She's clever.
She can seem innocent when she's not innocent, too. So, yeah.
It's like all sweet. I'm done playing. And like pointed right at the door. I was like, oh, here we go.
The scary thing is I went to open the door. I was like, okay. Why you want to come in the bathroom,
She
man,
almost
if you're
got
done
him.
playing?
He thought about
I
it for a
was like,
second.
what am I doing?
I love it.
Falling for it. That's what you were about to do.
Yeah.
You know what? She is sweet. She's very innocent and sweet, and she about got me.
That's
got
funny.
me, yeah. So she gets that from Mrs. Speth.
Yes.
The sweetness or the about got you?
Yeah.
Probably both.
6-year-olds are dangerous. My daughter just turned 6,
Oh, nice.
and she's manipulative.
Yeah.
It's they just realized that they can
Yeah.
communicate and oh look.
Dangerous kids.
You don't always have to say things just like they are, and it
Yeah.
works out in your favor. I'm like, that's called lying, kids. Stop doing that.
can't do that.
Don't do that.
You can't trick me into
It's
this.
not good. So,
Yeah.
but it's funny too. There's literally right on red dots on. I didn't know Nerf guns had pick rails on them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another one that
Apparently they do.
I have every Nerf gun zeroed at 10 yards with the pick rail that I installed on them. Yeah, it gets real in the house. It has spilled over to the office a couple times. In the warehouse, there's like an upper story that, got away from the mic there. In the warehouse, there's like an upper story, and we found this like sniper Nerf gun. And so it just permanently kind of stays up there on a bipod. So if you can make it up to the upper story, you can just snipe people. all over
Dominate the warehouse.
That's pretty
You
rad.
control it. So we try to have fun.
I see a vlog in the near future.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A YouTube vlog.
There's
episode.
there's ghillie suits. It gets real. We do work. I don't want to make people think that we don't, but there's a lot of Nerf battles that happen at the office.
Yeah, there's ping pong and
That speaks
fun.
to your guys' culture. It's
Yeah,
another
that's
reason.
fun, man.
the Brady works as hard as he plays, you know, and always appropriately at the right time. And sometimes people like to just grind it out, like that old mindset, like I'll just sit here till I figure it out. Like, good luck with that. But if you can get up and go around and do something, so it seems like it's fun, but literally get your juices flowing again, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm back at it. I'm refocused.
Sometimes I feel like that's how this podcast is for us.
can see that, yeah.
The grind is hard, and then there's certain aspects about the job itself that it's that feeling of walking away from the canvas and coming back with fresh eyes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it was nice. Thanks for coming on today,
Yeah.
guys, and giving
Thanks
us
for
that
having us.
opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Recharge.
Good to get back in the old saddle.
Right?
I know.
After some time off, hopefully episode 22 will not disappoint.
Nope.
After a little break.
I'm confident it won't. And for the audience's sake, our goal is to try to get at least 2 out a month. And sometimes that can be tricky. You know, we're coming into a busy show season that's probably not going to slow down until November. And then we got SHOT Show.
Right.
So we're going to try to squeeze in some more episodes, we promise. And we've got one that we're waiting to release with Todd McGee.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In the can, as they would say.
Yes.
can.
Yeah. So when that releases, you'll know why, obviously. But we're excited to show you guys that one.
You got to be careful with these names. I wanted to start a tech tip, but our former marketing folks, I was like, how about just the tip Tuesday? They were like, no. Not. I was like, okay.
Dang.
We had to wade through Jeremiah's ideas. They're good. You get a whole bunch.
You
and
get a whole
somewhere-
bunch.
Somewhere in there's
someone
a nugget.
has to be good enough about like
Just take the
panning through
appropriate
'em.
ones
Yes,
out there.
Somewhere
absolutely.
there's
yeah.
a nugget.
I call that the pre-roast. So like I have a method with posting and certain, obviously if you're putting it out there on the internet and
Yeah.
representing a brand, you gotta what I call pre-roast your post.
Nice.
Yeah.
So caption good. Sometimes I've pre-roasted it and thought it was gonna be epic, and that Mike was just gonna love it. He's like, "You can't do that or say that. Take it." And
Like,
sometimes I
let it
feel
down.
like he's messing with me, but he's not. He's like, "No, don't post that."
Not happening.
Okay.
We don't want to derail this little train.
No.
That's hilarious. Well, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Love up here hanging out.
I
It's a
hope this
beautiful
shot shell
area.
thing goes through it so we can.
Yeah, we'll see you guys there. We'll have
Looking
to go out.
forward
And,
to podcasting with you gentlemen on the
Yeah.
floor there.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
If you guys have questions, hit us in the comments below for those who are watching on YouTube. If you're not following Right On Optics, you guys can find them on Instagram and all the platforms.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Check them out, guys.
Ask at your dealer.
Yeah.
Let's get some right on flowing.
Love
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Thanks, guys. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah. Have a good week, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with all your home slicers.